Once in a quiet village at the edge of a dry plain, there lived a boy named Arian. The earth was cracked and dusty, and the little gardens near the homes were tired from the long heat. Still, Arian liked to sit beside the old wall and imagine how the village might look if it were filled with green leaves, soft shade, and singing birds. He wanted to help the land wake up again. When he shared his idea, some people smiled kindly and said the earth needed rest, while others simply shrugged and went on with their day. Arian felt small for a moment, but he did not let his hope slip away. One evening, his mother found him watching the sunset in silence. She sat beside him and said, "Why are you so quiet, my son?" Arian answered, "I want to do something good for our village, but I do not know if I can." His mother touched his hand and said, "A brave heart grows stronger when it begins with one kind act. You do not have to change everything at once. Just begin." The next morning, before the sun climbed high, Arian walked to a forgotten patch of land beyond the village. He carried a small seed, a little water, and a great deal of care. He dug a tiny hole with his fingers, placed the seed inside, covered it softly, and gave it a sip of water. Then he smiled at the plain earth as if it had already heard a promise. Day after day, Arian returned. He watered the seed carefully. He shaded it with a woven leaf mat when the sun felt strong. He watched over the ground with patient eyes. Nothing seemed to happen for quite a while, and at times he wondered if the seed had chosen to nap very deeply. Still, he kept coming back. Then one morning, a green tip appeared. It was tiny, but it was alive. Arian gasped with joy and clapped his hands softly, as if he might scare the little sprout back into the soil. He hurried home to tell his mother, and she followed him to see the miracle. Together they stood very still, smiling at the new leaf. It was only one small plant, yet it felt like the beginning of a song. Soon, a few children came to look. "Can we help?" they asked. Arian nodded happily. "Of course," he said. "Let us care for it together." So the children brought water in small jars, and Arian showed them how to plant more seeds with gentle hands. Weeks passed, then months. The little patch grew into a garden of green. More leaves opened. More flowers followed. Birds began to visit in the morning, and their cheerful songs floated over the village like music in the air. People who had once passed by without noticing now slowed down to watch. Some brought tools. Some brought seeds. Some brought warm smiles. When the summer heat returned, the garden needed extra care. Arian and the children worked together to protect the young plants. They made shade, shared water wisely, and learned which places held moisture longer. Arian listened, learned, and tried again whenever something did not work. The garden did not grow because everything was easy. It grew because they kept tending it with patience and hope. 1 year later, the once empty patch was a bright, living garden. 2 years later, young trees stood there, offering cool shade to tired families and soft homes for birds. The village felt lighter. People gathered outside more often. Children played beneath the branches. Even the air seemed to sigh in contentment. And when someone asked Arian how such a change had happened, he gave a simple answer. "I planted one seed," he said. "Then I kept caring for it. That was all." The village never forgot that lesson. Big changes can begin in quiet places. A kind idea, a patient heart, and one small beginning can bring wonderful things to life. And so each night, as the trees whispered softly in the breeze, the village rested under their gentle shade, and Arian dreamed calm, happy dreams too.